Welcome to the first Python tutorial by yours truly. Basically, Python I think is a pretty good coding language to begin with. You don't have to know very much, it's very high level, it's very easy to do particular things, like the language is pretty natural. First line, already starting out with controversy. So you use the hashtag right here to comment. A comment just means like the computer isn't gonna like do anything with this. You know, you're not gonna execute anything basically. This is just if you write some complicated line of code, you can put a comment to say like this line of code basically does this or whatever. So normally in like beginner programming classes, people will say to just code all the time. Like instructors will want to see like a bunch of comments and stuff, and that's usually because you might write like sloppy code or whatever, and the instructor wants to understand like what you're actually doing, and it's hard to do that if you have like sloppy code, so they want you to write comments so that they can read your code and grade you properly. But the thing with Python is that it is pretty natural, so like comments just in general just take up more space, right, on the screen. When you're reading this document right here, for example, the comments just add more text, and just more text to read, and it's not visually appealing to the eye. Like you might read some code and then get distracted by the comment or whatever. It might not be necessary. The point of this statement right here is basically that you want to write code that is pretty natural, and so that you don't need comments. Basically, you write like very easy to read, easy to understand, clean code that you don't need to have any comments to describe what you're doing, because it should be like pretty obvious to anyone reading it. The only reason I have a lot of comments here is just to explain to you guys what's going on, because you guys are new to Python and you guys might not know what's going on, but I mean, it should still be natural anyway. I guess the other thing that I should mention is if you don't have Python installed or anything, Python 2.715, I'm pretty sure, let's just see, like if you go to all releases, okay, you can download 3.7.0, that's the latest version for Windows. And yeah, 2.71.15. This is what I'm using right now. So if you can use it for Mac or whatever. Windows, this is 64-bit. This should be 32-bit if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I downloaded this one. You might need this one if you have a 32-bit machine. Mac OS for either one. And I guess if you have Linux, you might use something like this. Anyway, so that's that. And then I also am using Sublime. So Sublime is this, what you're seeing here, this screen with all this text and stuff. I wrote this in Sublime, so it has like syntax highlighting for Python. If you see later, I just have this uncommented, but basically, you should have you can write the text, and then if you write things correctly, it will highlight the text, and you'll see that you're doing the right stuff basically. So to download that, you just come in here, and then probably just come to download, and then whatever OS, Windows, 64-bit or Linux distribution, yeah, whichever bit you need. Yeah, I'm using Sublime Text 3 as well. I think it's pretty cool. Also, when you download Sublime, you might notice that your text doesn't look as nice as mine, just because I have, let's see, package. If you go to package control, you basically want to do install package, and then it should come up, and then I have color. I might not show it because I already have it, but basically color Sublime as like one word. You download that, and then let's see, it should be color scheme. Yeah, Art School. That's what I'm using. So you just install Art School through Color Sublime, and then that's just like, I don't know, it's just like the coloring. It's like more white. Usually it's like, if you saw that, the default is like black. Whatever, it's all your preference. It's fun because you can mess around with it too. Why don't I show you guys just real quick? So let's see. Color Sublime, or I think you do this. Package control, and then after you have Color Sublime installed, you can do Color Sublime install theme, and then you can look at all these pretty colors. But anyway, go back to I like Art School. I don't know, Art School, and I like Candyland too, or something. There's like 2 Candyland ones. I don't know. You can mess around with those. Find whatever you like. Okay, but anyway, so the first thing we have here is print hello world. Okay, so let me zoom out just a tiny bit, and okay, so I just say this is a basic print statement. It writes to the console. So what that means is basically wherever you're running Python from, you get output. So you can use I'm using it really simple, just like this Sublime Text. And so I'm using just the command prompt, right? and it should be in here. So we have, we're using right now lecture 1 no solutions.py. So you can do two things. So you can do this. You can just type in Python into your console from whenever you have it downloaded, and it will come up with this little thing right here. I think, can we zoom in? All right, let's go a little bit down. Let's try like 50. Okay. This is good. This looks good. Okay. So basically what you can do here is like you can just type in Python code. Like let's actually try this. Hold on. Let's try this statement we have. Print hello world, exclamation mark, blah blah. Okay, so you print out hello world basically. That's what that does. And then let me show you the other way that you can do this. So now I think you just can push Control C. Yeah, it exits it. Okay. Let's see what we got here. So now, okay, so now I have like this file, for example, this lecture 1 no solutions.py. And if you just do like Python lecture 1, and then I believe you have to do / yes. Okay. Should do that. Okay. Hello world, right there. Okay. That's all that really does. It's just printing to the console. Like this is, like I said, wherever you're running it from, it worked. And that other way we just did like Python, and it gave us that I don't know what you really call it, but it's like it just like is like somewhere you just type in Python code like dynamically, and the computer just kind of saves like what you're doing, and then you can do different things. But this is like what we just did here was we compiled and we ran a Python file that we wrote. So I wrote a little bit of that file. You guys should have it too. I have everything else commented out just to print out the hello world, just so we can see that example. So that's how that works. You know, easy Python, name of the file. Boom, boom. Okay. Okay. So now, what are we gonna do today? So we're gonna go over the curriculum. Here is I'm gonna cover Boolean logic, if you guys have done that at all. And then we're gonna do control statements. And then we're going to talk about, yeah, I mean, control statements usually just talk about if, but then while and for like called loops. So we're going to talk about those. And then we're going to talk about tuples. Tuples are basically like, if you think of like coordinate pairs, and then you can add like any number of them. So you can have like XYZ coordinates, or like, I don't know, WXYZ, etc. This one is a little bit more advanced of a topic. Like we're gonna introduce. I have like one recursive thing that we're doing, but I think like it's an advanced topic, and it took me a while to understand. But I think we could. I think I have a good way of explaining it. But we're not. Don't worry too much if you can't understand this when we cover it. This is something more advanced that I just throw in just to see how everyone would respond to, basically. And then we have then functions, strings, which are basically just like sequences of characters, I guess, like ABC, exclamation point, 2, 3, 4, whatever. Anyway, yeah, numbers can be characters. You just put basically a string is something that has like basically this hello world thing. Like we put the quotes around it, so that made it a string. You could put like hello 2 worlds. Oh, did I say? Oh, wow. Nothing happened there. Okay. Anyway, hello world, hello word, all the same stuff. Okay. Then arrays. So in Python calls arrays lists for whatever reason. It's basically like, you know, if you think of like a one-dimensional matrix or whatever. I mean, yeah, I feel like people know what arrays are. But we'll see what that is exactly later. And then we're gonna go over like input and output as well. So basically how to pull input from a user or whatever, or how to deal with input and parse it, and then how to output. Basically what we did already, this printing, that was basically output. So you know, we'll do a little bit more. And then honestly, like after we do those things, I have like maybe like a homework assignment is to do calculator. And then I was thinking about doing Battleship like on stream at some point. I don't know if we'll do it today. I'll see what time it is after we get through everything. But okay, so let's get started. So the first thing actually isn't in the curriculum. We're going to talk about basic arithmetic. So let me just uncomment this and then So, okay, so what I did there, though, let me just go over that, too. So this is, like, the one-line comment, and you can do, like, triple asterisks, and then, you know, triple asterisks again, and that's a comment block. So whatever is within these asterisks will be commented, basically. So if you just want an easy way to comment a lot of lines or whatever. Okay. Anyway, so basic arithmetic. Okay. So here is, like, the first thing is right here we're doing, like, x equals 1, right? Now in other languages you normally have to specify what type of variable this is, but in Python it's kind of nice. We don't have to do that. I mean, like I said, it's a little bit more high level, and the computer basically can figure out what this variable should be, like by giving it a 1. It knows that, like, 1 is, I mean, I don't want to get too deep, but basically 1 is an integer, so the computer knows that x should be an integer variable. So it assigns x to 1, you know, no problem, and then print x. So this should basically just print the value 1. So if we just, you know, comment out the hello world, and let's just comment out everything else here. Let me just hold on. Okay, we're good. Okay, so we should get out 1, right? So let's come back here, and let's try the same line of code that we did. And oh, maybe I didn't. Did I not save? Okay, I didn't save. All right, yeah. Remember to save, everyone. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we get 1, right? Easy. Yeah. The other thing I wanted to quickly mention, just maybe as like a higher level thing, that just to explain like what exactly is going on here, is so a computer basically, we're basically writing instructions to the computer, right? But a computer works in ones and zeros. Like basically what a computer does is have like wires of like different voltages. Basically you have a high voltage and a low voltage, and that's a 0 or a 1. Well, 1 is high, 0 is low usually, but I've heard of actually computers that do it the opposite way. But basically, instead of using zeros and ones to talk to the computer, we're using Python to talk to the computer. And then there's another program called the compiler, which basically takes what I've written here and translates it into zeros and ones so a machine can understand and run the code. And so we're working at like a higher level. And we're telling the computer things to do in Python, and it's a little bit easier for us to work that way. But okay, so what's the next line here? So we have, okay, x equals x plus 5, print x. So it takes the 1, so we already have x equals 1, and I guess this is like, you know, things get a little bit weird here, because you see we have x twice, right? So this is weird, right? X equals x plus 5. Well, this x is 1, and you add 5 to it, and then this is like, usually this is called like an assignment operator. Basically, you're assigning x the value of what x previously was, which is 1, and then you add 5 to it. So this should be x equals 6, right? So we can run that real quick. So, oh, wait, let me save. Okay. So, you know, the 1 is printed from before, and then the new value of x is 6, right? Okay. Now, let's see here. So what's the next thing? So that's addition, right? And, you know, we have the same deal. Let's go step by step here. So now x is 6 when we go here. So this is all sequential, right? So everything gets executed in sequence, and at this point, like this x right here is 6. So the computer knows, okay, like you're gonna assign x to the value of what x previously was minus 2. So this should be 4, right? X was 6 here, and x was 6 here, right? And then now x is 6 here, minus 2, then this x is gonna be 4, and then we're gonna print 4. Okay, so that's saved, and let's just look at that. And so yeah, we got 4 right there. Okay. You know, basic stuff. There's nothing too fancy. Like, okay, the first thing that happens over here is that, you know, feel free to stop me if I'm going too fast. I think this stuff is, you know, like I said, it's pretty basic, pretty readable, and everything, so shouldn't be too much of a problem, but yeah, feel free to stop me. It also doesn't really matter, like, so this one I have like close together like this. You could have the x minus 2 like this, or like that, or whatever. I think even like 2 spaces like that should probably work. We can test that out. But so this operator is a multiplication, right? It looks a little bit different just because like we don't use x, but you know, I think even in some math textbooks the star operator it could be used for multiplication, so should be fine. So what do we have? So x was 4, right? And so multiplied by 3, so now we should get x is 12 when we print it out. So let's try that. Let's see if that 2 works there. So it does, right? So we didn't have, the compiler didn't yell at us or anything. We were able to have 2 spaces before the 2. It doesn't really matter. We could write it however we want. It is good practice to keep it kind of clean, or at the very least consistent, I would say. So just so other people can read it. You know, it's probably good practice to leave a little space. We might have as well have this like that. Yeah. And so yeah, I'm using a free trial of Sublime, so that's why that thing popped up there. Okay, now let's go on to divide. And okay. So x is equal x divided by 6. You use this symbol for divide, but everything else is the same. You just remember these 2 symbols. So this is multiplication, this is divide. And you can even like make some like functions or whatever to make this work too if you'd like. So let's see what happens there. So what would x was 12 divided by 2? We should get 2 as our next number there. Okay, 2. Great. What do you think? Any questions about arithmetic? You know, you're free when this becomes a video, you're free to go back and look at everything. But I think, you know, just recap. You have variables, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. I think that's fairly straightforward. Okay. Yeah. Reach out to me, by the way, whenever you want about anything, if you have any questions or anything like that.